I trust you.
We got you.
I trust you.
We got you.
I trust you.
We got you.
I'm not afraid.
Trying on dance for the first time, I just realized, okay, there's something about live performance and bodies in space that I'm super, super interested in. And so I just couldn't get enough. I did as much dancing as I possibly could, went out in the community and started taking classes, and happened to be in the room with a woman named Nina Martin, who's like a postmodern choreographer and does a lot of improvisation and contact improvisation. And I ended up working with her and eventually joining an ensemble, like a collective that she was part of called Lower Left. And from Lower Left, that's kind of how I did most of my professional dancing with them, but also for some other choreographers. But that's what brought me around the world to especially teach ensemble improvisation to people. So yeah, kind of a strange entry into dance, like pretty late in life, and coming from a more postmodern aesthetic as opposed to starting with ballet or tap or jazz or something like that. Lower Left Performance Collective enabled me to be a performer and also a choreographer and also an improviser. So we would do entire evening length shows that were all improvised, and we would actually invite artists from other media to join us. All dance making exists on this spectrum, and on one end it's when all of the compositional choices have been made ahead of time, and on the far other end is that all of the compositional choices have not been made yet, and they happen in the moment. And then I'd say probably most dancing exists somewhere a little bit in between, with like most of what we see on stage probably falling towards the we've already decided these compositional choices. So we've been rehearsing this movement. Any dancer will tell you that movement does not happen the same each time. So there's always an improvisational element, even within choreography, at least according to me. It's like there's always a time where you're dancing your part and someone's supposed to meet you at this time in the music and they're late, and it's, well, what do? You are going to make choices about how to handle that. And so improvisation really on kind of the far end of the compositional decision-making spectra would really have to be any kind of dancing where you are deciding in the moment what's happening. So you're making choices about space and time and dynamic or quality or texture. And so that's, yeah, and I've actually been working on that a lot with the students here at KU. Also, my work tends to involve having some kind of text, whether that's projected or spoken, and using theatrical elements such as like props or objects, and then video projection as well. And the thing that I'm really interested in is when the movement language of dance intersects with the visual language of being able to have image, like moving image or static image on a projection surface, which might be behind the dancers, in front of the dancers, because I feel like I've seen those different media work in a way where they'll just reinforce each other like one-to-one. But I've also seen it work so that those two elements or three elements come together and they create friction. So ways to create irony, ways to layer meaning, to get at something that I couldn't just get at with the movement language of dance, which can be quite elusive in terms of meaning making and being very direct with what you're trying to say. And so then when it comes to me making dances, it's one of the reasons why I like combining different languages and different media together, because I feel like I usually get to a place where somebody cannot know about dance, but they can like ride along with me and understand the societal phenomenon that I'm pointing to. Because most of my pieces have really direct, real world applications of like, what are we talking about? And in this case, with Ask Questions Later, we're talking about gun culture and the fact that we as a country have a really complicated relationship with guns. And I think some people have said before, like, oh, this is your gun control piece. And I say, I really think it's more about gun culture. I don't know if it has a message. But I would be curious to talk to audience members about that, actually.
I trust you.
We got you.
Black